The reason my first business hit a 5 million ceiling wasn't because of lack of effort or skills. It was because of me. I wanted to do everything myself. I didn't know how to hire effectively or trust others. That was my biggest mistake, and it cost me years of growth. What if I told you there's a multiplier that can make your results skyrocket, and most of us are using it wrong? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erkka Subando. Many of you call me EJ. I'm here on social media to build a legacy, help you grow. Results in life follow this very simple formula. Skills times effort times leverage equal your output. Leverage is the multiplier. That's the secret sauce that I was referring to in the beginning. And there are 4 forms of leverage. I'm going to explain those to you briefly in a second. And today in this video, we're going to go deeper into people. But first about the results. Like I mentioned, with my first company, my results were capped at 5 million a year. Why? Because I didn't know how to use people as my form of leverage in the beginning. I was stubborn. I wanted to just work by myself and see how good I truly am. I knew what the outcome could be. People kept telling me that, okay, if you want to build this kind of a company where you're developing properties and doing all of that stuff that you're doing right now, you need people around you. But I wanted to see how good I truly am if I could do the job of 3 or 4 people. You could argue that it wasn't really the smartest choice because it cost me a lot. But yes, time, money, whatever your value drivers are. But I also learned a lot. And that's one of the reasons why I can talk about that now. But like I said, without leverage, your results will always be capped. No matter how hard you work, no matter how smart you are, you won't get the most out of your business without understanding leverage. And now briefly, all of these 4. People and money are the so-called permissioned forms of leverage. Somebody needs to follow you if you're a leader. If you want to use money as your form of leverage, people need to give it to you, whether it's a bank or a private lender. With code and content, these are the so-called new ways of leverage, and they are permissionless. I can stand here in front of this camera and, at least in theory, distribute this message to all the 8 billion people out there on this planet. Think about the power of that tool. In the past, 20 years ago, I would have maybe needed 10 people in the value chain to give me a yes answer, whether I was smart enough, if my message was clear enough, if I was good looking, or whatever the criteria were given their value drivers. But now I can just stand there, here, and distribute my message to each and every one of you. I don't need anybody's permission. And that is a very powerful tool. With code, like Microsoft or any of these big software companies, as an example, have done, you create a program using your engineering skill set. And on the internet, to distribute that, it's almost free. So you create that code, that program that people are willing to use. And then all of a sudden, it starts spreading if you do good enough work. With people, how does that math work? You hire somebody, you pay them 100, their productivity is 150, and you maybe charge 170 from your customers. It makes sense, right? With money, interest rate is 5, and your return on investment, when you put that money in your business, you do what you're good at, you get maybe 25 or 30% return on that money. Makes sense too. With content, I could be making music, writing books, creating these videos, recording a podcast. That's all content related leverage. But like I said, without this piece, your results will be capped, and most likely you will be trading time for money for the rest of your life. And that's not something we want as business owners. This is my personal scorecard as far as these 4 forms of leverage go. Real talk here. Money. I believe I've always been pretty good at raising money, understanding that formula about interest rate versus return on investment, whether it's private lender or bank directly. I've used that successfully. People, during my corporate years, I believe I was the guy who was a pretty good manager, actually, based on the feedback I got from my people. I was good at recognizing talent, setting deadlines, setting targets. I was tough but fair. But this is just the feedback that I got. Then the question is, why wasn't I able to transfer that skill set onto the business world? I think the number one reason was that my speed was just too high for anybody to follow, because I had a chip on my shoulder. That deep insecurity that fuels so many people who are driven was in me. Nowadays, it's at least somewhat replaced by curiosity. Deep insecurity and curiosity are those 2 motivators that I believe are the biggest whys or fuel for successful people, or at least those who are extremely driven. But in the beginning, I wasn't patient enough. And most importantly, I wanted to prove myself and others if I could pull it off. Start a company from scratch. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I had the skill set to really be patient enough to look for that right person who could have taught me lessons and who could have shown me what certain things required. I just wanted to do everything by myself. Code, I don't have the skill set to be a software engineer, to be that technically savvy that I could go deeper into this. So that's probably going to be something that I will never even try to accomplish. But content, I started this content game 9 months ago, as I have mentioned several times on my channel, and I'm extremely thrilled about this. So my long-term focus out of these four is going to keep using money, get better at content, and definitely get better at people. And today, let's talk about those lessons that I have learned over the last 5 years or so. Next, let's look at some of the lessons I've been able to collect, either as a manager or someone who's been hired during my last 25 years. There are toxic people in life, just a matter of fact. I used to be one of those guys who felt that I can fix anything and everything. It took me years of failed relationships, both in business and in my private life, to understand that you can't help everybody. There are toxic people, or the combination of you and that other person. That's what makes it toxic. And that's okay. You can't fix everything in life. Be willing to move on. Be willing to walk away. You have to be strong enough to understand that there will be better people. And this fear here, what I mean by that is that I think the reason why we settle, whether it's our private life, looking for a partner, or hiring somebody, is that we are afraid that we don't find anybody better. Why do so many people stay in toxic relationships in life? They don't have the courage to get divorced. I believe fear of being left alone, not finding anybody, is one of those reasons. And the same exact fear applies to business world as well. We just try to find somebody to fill that role. We have identified a need in our business, and then just finding the person who seems pretty suitable, and now having enough patience, believing in our cause, having so much conviction that we feel that, okay, we need to find somebody better. And the rule number one here, when you're hiring, is that that person that you hire, ask yourself, is he or she raising the bar of the team? Is that person making our team better? Did I learn something from that person? Because if you are the one teaching everybody and people are below you when it comes to their skill set, then you are always the bottleneck. You want to have somebody who's better than you. If you need your marketing person or your salesperson, is that person able to teach you something as part of the interview process? If not, you don't have the right person. You can be the one teaching every different organizational leader about how to do their job. They need to be experts. And I believe I had a very skewed, very unrealistic view in the past when it comes to hiring people. I don't think I was confident enough to have somebody better join my team. That's part of that crippling insecurity I was referring to. When being hired, the number one question I would ask from my manager, if I was the one going through that interview process, is this: how can I help? How can I make this company better? How can I help you make money? Please tell me, what is it that my role is supposed to do in order to move this company forward? That's the whole idea. When you master this as a hiring manager, hire only those people who can elevate the team. It's the bar. When being hired, how can I help? How can I make money for you, for this company? And then that's when the results start to come. As a business owner, what are my priorities going forward? I have just started 9 months ago a new company, a new business venture where I'm coaching entrepreneurs, being involved with startups. This is no different with me. I wanted to get better when it comes to people. My personal priorities: know the stage of your business. This applies to me and it applies to every single one of you as well. Your hiring needs are completely different if you're a startup versus somebody who already has an established customer base, maybe 5 million in revenue, 50 people on your team. Usually as a startup owner, we oftentimes need admin support first, followed by some sort of a sales leader or sales manager, just as a rule of thumb. But every company has its very unique hiring needs depending on the stage that business is in. Understanding that is the starting point. Number two, new people need to raise my game. No exceptions. I need to find those people who can make me better, who can make the company better. If I don't, I follow rule number 3. I keep looking until I find them. It's like finding a partner, a spouse in life. You can't be comfortable in front of that person. If that person doesn't make you better, if that person doesn't support you, and if you and that person, if you guys don't have aligned interests, there's no point continuing forward together. Same thing with employees. They need to meet the same 3 criteria as your spouse or friend in life. Again, make you better, similar interests, and support you no matter what. These are my personal priorities, and I will not sacrifice anymore. I have made too many mistakes with people as a business owner, and now especially understanding people that I hire, they truly need to make me better. I don't suffer from the crippling insecurity anymore that I used to suffer from. Now it's, I would say, in a very good balance with that curiosity, so I can give up control. I can admit that I don't know, I don't have to do everything inside my company. I can have people who are better than me. And that's always a starting point. What type of leverage are you using today? Is it a combination of all of the 4 that we just covered? Or what about people? Any challenges? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. Would be excited to hear your stories, especially regarding people. There are many winning strategies, and the whole idea about this community is that people can share their lessons. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. I want to pass on all the life and business knowledge that I have collected, first and foremost to my kids, plus also to you guys. Again, thank you for watching. I truly enjoyed this. This video was recorded here in sunny California. Maybe next time I'm back in my home base. I appreciate your time. I don't take it for granted. I'll see you again next time. Thanks.